today, and I have with me Carl DeMileg, and otherwise known as the College Loan Angel. And as we get through this, you'll understand why he's called that. So today I want to talk about some details with student loans. And, you know, you've heard me say student loans are the devil and why I think so. So currently right now, college loan debt, student loan debt is at just shy of $1.75 trillion. Ouch. 1 in 4 Americans has a student loan, and that's about 44.7 million Americans. That is a lot of us, okay? The average student loan is approximately $37,172. So almost $40,000 and climbing, because people have not been paying their student loans since COVID. So, you know, they put a moratorium on interest, I think, for a time. But as with things done in the government, I don't trust it. I feel like there's a bomb about to be dropped on this one. Carl, you and I agree. We met, and we're both in the same industry. We both do college loan and student loan forgiveness. And we want to just bring alive what you can do about it and what are the pitfalls of all this stuff. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually get student loans eliminated. Okay? And so I wanted to talk about that with Carl today, because when people say, oh, you can't eliminate student loans, aren't there like 14 loan programs right now for elimination?
Plenty. Yeah, I didn't count because I have my favorites and I stick to those.
Yeah. Well, and Carl, can you talk to us about that, like what your specialty is, what you've noticed with people when they come to you, what they say about this? I guess I wanted to, you know, bounce back and forth from you on, to me, why student loans are the worst out there. I think that college loans are given to kids that are still kids. They're maybe 17, 18 years old, and they have no idea. They have no credit. They have no idea how to even pay their bills, no less pay back such a remarkable debt than this. What are you seeing with these kids with this stuff?
Well, let me answer from the lender side. The government says, could you lend these kids who don't really know what they probably really want in the future, could you lend them as much money as they possibly need for college? They don't need to have any really good credit, and they can't bankrupt out of them. Are you fine with that? Yeah, sure. So of course the lender's going to want to do that because it's guaranteed money.
Yeah.
It's a business. I get that, and the attention was nice. You know, they want our young adults to get a higher education, because the theory was that we were sold was get a degree, get a higher paying job, and that hasn't panned out. I see these things where it says entry-level position, must have a master's degree and 10 years experience. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I look back, when I graduated from college, we were almost guaranteed, at my age, in the early 90s coming out of college, $50,000 a year. Inflation was not what it is today. Debt was, bills were not what they were today. House payments back then, I think I had a house payment of $500 a month on my house payment. And that was a starter home, but making $50,000 a year was no problem to pay $500 a month on a mortgage note. Today, these kids, they're getting out of school making $27,000 a year. Oh my gosh, that's not even just a little over $2,000 a month. We could do that without a student loan. We could go work at Starbucks and make more than that. It's disgusting, what's happened out there, and college is not for everybody, right?
It's only for those professions where you have to have that degree, like engineering, science, health, law. But other than that, you can do very well at a trade school or as an entrepreneur doing whatever it is you love. And it's been sold to us, honestly. And a lot of us bought it. And,
right.
At a time it was true, not anymore.
Yeah, because I look back, my parents, that generation, they hounded, we were constantly told, if you don't go to college, you're not going to amount to anything. And we were sold that, if you go to college, you're going to make more money. Well, basically, that was true back then. Mm-hmm. Today, it's not. And when Obama federalized the student loans back in '08, once they're federalized, what that means is everybody gets one. They don't have to qualify. You just, if you have breath in your lungs, you get a student loan. And what did the colleges do? They skyrocketed the price. Over 100% in some of these schools. Inflation is over 100% on college education. And are we getting 100% better education? I don't think so.
No.
So what can we do about this situation? Because for a lot of people, they got maybe 2 years in and was like, I can't, this is too much. This is not going to fly for me. And they don't have a degree, but they have lots of debt. Mm-hmm. So how do we get out of this? What's the solution?
I would say the first thing is to understand the loans that you have. Make sure they're federal loans, because those have the best repayment options. Private loans, they have their own terms, so you just got to go to see what they can do for you from that private lender. But the federal loans, there are several types of repayment programs. Some are better than others. Some are better if you're single. Some are better if you're married. And that right there, understanding that you at least have options, will hopefully get you to relax a little bit. Mm-hmm. Of course, you can always go to studentaid.gov and read the very dry everything about it, or you can talk to people who've been doing this and understand how the system works, because there is a way. They did give everyone a way to get student loans forgiven, and it's just up to you to be open to the idea to have to take a look at it. Mm-hmm. That way.
Well, and people that don't believe they can be forgiven, you and I both know we've gotten them forgiven for many, many people.
Yeah.
So there is student loan forgiveness out there. And I remember how skeptical I was the first time I heard that you could actually get student loans forgiven, because, you know, being a mortgage broker for all those years, there was no forgiveness and that I knew about. And I met with a person that was actually getting student loans forgiven, and I saw it for myself, and I was like, wow, I want to get involved on this, because this is a real pain point for, you know, almost a third of America. People that have student loans, when I ask them, have you gotten it paid off? They're like, no. So student loans also compound daily. It's egregious how they grow. I have a girlfriend that took out a student loan in the 80s for $30,000, and she still today has $30,000 that she owes. Because life has happened, and over the time she couldn't pay some of it and put it on hold and and the next thing you know, it's grown, and she's just paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest and still owes $30,000 on the principal. This is why I call it the devil. It is, you get in bed with the devil the day you take out a student loan. So let's talk about your favorite loan forgiveness program. What is your favorite?
Hands down, it's called Public Service Loan Forgiveness. The reason I love that is because, well, it's the best one because, well, let me talk about the other ones.
Okay.
You can either repay your loans depending on if you have graduate loans. You can either get your loans forgiven after 25 years. The other one is 20. And assuming you don't pay it off, and that's part of our strategy, we want you to have as much cash flow in your household or business. So we lower your payments as much as legally possible, so you can put that back in your business. Now, the downside is the loan isn't getting paid off. So let's say in 20 years, you had $50,000 forgiven. Most people don't know this, but the loan is forgiven, yes, but it's now taxable as income because the IRS says, wait, you got all this money and you didn't pay taxes on it.
Yes.
So let's tax you on this, even if you only earned $50,000 that year. Well, congratulations, you earned 50 plus the 50 that was forgiven. So that applies for just about everyone who's using income-driven repayment plans, except for public service loan forgiveness. Not only is that half the time, 10 years, so you're paying less in time, but after 10 years, whatever balance you have left, $100,000, that's not taxable as income. Mm. And the part that people aren't aware of is that, they think, I have to work for the government.
Yes.
I can't be an entrepreneur. That's false. I know many people that have 2 full-time jobs. So you can be your full-time entrepreneur, and you can also qualify full-time for public service loan forgiveness. So if I know healthcare professionals that have double full-time careers, and it's overlooked because it's not fully understood, and people will give up on it when they don't know someone who knows how it works.
Absolutely, and that was the great thing when I met Carl. I had been in the student loan forgiveness industry for a while, but I could never figure out how to get the what you're talking about. PLSA is, I think, what it's called, right? PSLF. So I could never figure out how to make that fly. Carl understands it and gets it done, and remarkably so. So what I want to tell you is there's ways to get this done. It's totally above board. It's by the law, exactly how the law reads. He's following the law to the letter on how to do this, and he's getting these loans forgiven. He knows how to get this done. And there are a few more steps, but I'm telling you, if you're a doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief and you're carrying $300,000 plus debt, isn't it worth it to spend some time to find out how you would do that? So for a lot of my doctor friends, my dentist friends, we have some really good things in store for you, because you went to school longer and you needed that higher level degree, and you owe way more money. Mm-hmm. So, and I have a friend, chiropractor, he has been out of school for, 30 plus years, and he's like, I still owe $250,000, and he's paid off a ton of money. So he was like, oh no, there's no way I'm going to be able to get rid of this. I already tried. I'm like, you haven't met us yet. So yeah, we definitely can get rid of that in a way that it's done correctly.
Yes. I show people my paperwork that I'm qualified. That's how I know how this works. I'm doing this firsthand experience. I have student loans. I'm an entrepreneur. I qualify for public service loan forgiveness. And I just pretty much show people this is exactly what I did. You can either do what I did or figure it out yourself or give up.
Right. Well, and I say, for people, I tell people, you can do your own forgiveness. Just like you can mow your own yard, you can change your own oil, you can clean your own pool. What I say to that is, why would you do that? I would never... I mowed yards as a kid. I don't have to do that. I earned my angel wings. I don't have to mow my yard anymore. So to that I say, there's certain things that, like I tell people that do their own taxes. A lot of times I'm looking at their tax returns and they did their own, and I'm like, you really need a professional for this, because you've missed a lot of things that it says to follow these steps, but a professional is the way to go, because we can make mistakes and miss things. And the last thing you want to do is make a mistake on your student loan forgiveness and get 20 years into this and find out, oh, you actually did it wrong, and sorry, we're not going to forgive the loan.
That reminds me, this was Forbes, I think, last year. They said there's a 92% rejection rate on PSLF.
Wow.
And I forget the percentages of paperwork error. I think it was in 15%. Another 10% would have qualified to begin with, but the fact that 15% of the 90 just didn't do the paperwork right, it's horrible to be. You think you're on year 10, it's like, nope.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't planned for taxes by the end of year 10 because you thought you wouldn't have any, well, now you're 10 years behind because you're going to take the 20-year plan.
Correct.
And be taxed. So, yeah, I just recommend having it done right.
Yeah, always, for things like this, I always recommend a professional. There's reasons you need a mortgage license. You got to do mortgage loans. There's reasons you need a license when you seek a licensed professional for life insurance. It's the same thing with this. You need somebody that knows how to get around all of these. It's a government issue. So as with the government, I just call it's just monkey business a lot of times. You have to really understand how this works. So we wanted to share today about this because there is hope if you feel like you're drowning in debt. We know that today's debt is the new slavery. We have enslaved as a government a whole generation of people. And we need to do better to get out of this. And so, Carl and I have teamed up to really support humanity to get these loans off the backs of our fellow man. This is just, it's egregious how these loans work. If you really understood how they're compounding, you'd be running for the hills with your hair on fire. So if this really interests you, please get a hold of me at cindyberkland.com. Every which way to get a hold of me is on there, and Carl and I are teaming up now. We are, working together to get these student loans eliminated once and for all. So get a hold of us, cindyberkland.com. Make it a great day. Did you have anything else you wanted to add that I missed? Because we can always go back. He can edit.
Dumb jokes? No.
Okay. Because, we can probably figure out a format, like what we're going to cover now, like maybe once a week or every other week.
Okay. I did bring you one of the reports I print out for people that here's all your loans, here's your 20-year projection, just so you can see my work. I don't know how Scott did his things, but...
I don't know either, because